Okay, students, before jumping into lesson 6.4, we are going to do a few problems from lesson 6.3 just to warm up our reading of the unit circle in finding exact values at specific trig function angles. So let's do this first problem. Find the exact value of cosine 5 pi over 3 in simplest form with a rational denominator. So cosine means find the x value, and specifically they're asking us to zone in at angle 5 pi over 3. So when we do so, we find the angle 5 pi over 3 to be right here, or 300 degrees, however you want to visualize it. And let me do this over again. I had a little bit of a delay here. All right, and so we are just going to focus on the x, and the x coordinate at 5 pi over 3 is 1 over 2. So let's come over here, and we're going to type 1 over 2 as our final answer and submit. Okay, so cosine means find the x value. Then let's try another problem. Here they asked us to find the exact value of tan 5 pi over 4. So let's go back to the unit circle, find the location of angle 5 pi over 4 in radians. So 5 pi over 4 is, if you count around, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pi over 4. Do you see it? It would be in the third quadrant. So right here is our angle 5 pi over 4. Now tangent says that we need to take the y value over the x value. So tangent of 5 pi over 4, we're going to take the y over the x. Now, the y value here is going to be negative square root of 2. I'm going to ignore the denominator 2 because when I divide these two fractions, they are going to end up having the denominators cancel. So the y over the x of the numerators end up being negative square root of 2 over negative square root of 2, which results in a 1. So let's type 1 over here. 1, and we'll submit the answer. Let's go again. Sine of 7 pi over 4. Sine of 7 pi over 4. We'll find that, well, since we're at 5, 6, 7 pi over 4 should be right over here in the fourth quadrant. Okay. And sine just means to find the y value at 7 pi over 4 angle. So negative square root of 2 over 2 is what we will type. So let me put that first. Negative square root of 2, arrow down to the denominator, and we will do that. So this is basically what we've been doing, okay? Evaluating sine, cosine, tangent, cosecant, and secant. I will do one more just in case. Tangent of 2 pi over 3 is in the second quadrant. So here's my 2 pi over 3. And tangent, again, requires me to take the y divided by the x, right? So when I divide y over x, my y is square root of 3 over 2, and my x is negative 1/2. But since they both have denominators of 2, I'm just going to ignore that part. So square root of 3 over negative 1 is just negative square root of 3. So let me type this answer, and then we are going to jump into what is it that we're doing new in this new section. So hopefully that serves a bit of a refresher of what you were doing in 6.3. Okay, so let's go to 6.4. Okay, so here's a sample of what your inverse trig homework is going to look like. This is lesson 6.4 officially. So you are still using the unit circle to read and come up with your final answers. But this time we are going to reverse the situation, okay? So notice that before you were given an angle and asked to evaluate, but now they're basically giving you the answer, the value, and asking you to figure out what the angle you are standing at is going to be, okay? So sometimes you can answer in radians and in degrees, but in this particular homework problem, you'll notice that they are usually having you focus over here in degrees, okay? So find all angles 0 degrees to 360 degrees that solve the following equation. The tan of theta is undefined. So let's just come over here to the whiteboard and write that. So tangent of theta is undefined. So remember, you're looking for theta. You're looking for the angle. And one of these angles, I'm going to come highlight over here, one of these angles right over here, because they told us to stick to our degrees, is your final answer, okay? Now, or final answers, you can have more than one. So where is my tangent theta is going to be undefined? Well, you have to remember that tangent theta means the y over x has to be undefined. That's what tangent is. And fractions are only undefined when your fraction denominator is actually equal to 0, okay? So what you need to do is figure out, where is x going to be 0? Where is x equal to 0? Okay? So if you look at your unit circle, I notice that x is 0 right here, highlighting it, and right here. So what are those angles? Well, the angles are, and since they wanted degrees, 90 degrees and 270 degrees. So I'm going to come over here and type my answer of 90, an additional solution, and 270. And you won't have to put degrees because it's right there outside of your box. Okay, so we are going in the reverse. Instead of giving the angle you're going to stand at, you are looking for the angle that gives the answer that they're providing. Okay, so they're giving us another tangent problem. So they're telling us the tangent of theta is equal to -1. So you are looking to find which coordinates, when you divide them, is going to give you a -1. Now, in order for something to equal 1, the numbers have to be the same, okay? So for something to equal -1, that means the numbers have to be the same and opposite in sign. And in our unit circle, the only time our numbers x and y, as far as our coordinates, are the same, are only here at the 45-degree increments, okay? So if they're asking us where is y over x going to be -1, that means the signs have to be different, because if you divide two negatives or two positive numbers, you're always going to get a positive. So circling in red, the only ones that are the same and opposite in sign are these right here. So those are the only ones that would work. Therefore, our angles and degrees that we're going to provide are these right here. And that makes sense, because if your y over x is equal to -1, that means that the line, it has to be a negative slope, okay? And negative slope means that your lines go this way, okay? A -1, they go that way, okay? So negative slope lines are going down. So those two angles were 135 and 315. So let's do that. So 135 additional and 315. Let's see if we can get another one other than tangent. Okay, so let's try the sine of theta equals -1/2. So the sine of theta is equal to -1/2. So you are asking, in essence, which angle has a y value of -1/2. Okay, which angle? Because you're looking for theta. That's your unknown. Okay, so we look again at our unit circle, look at all our y values where y is -1. Now y is only going to be negative in the third and fourth quadrants. Okay, that's where y is always negative. And so y is -1/2 right here, and y is -1/2 right here. And that makes sense, right? y has to be negative in the third and fourth quadrants. So those angles that I'm going to type are 210 and 330. So 210, and what's my additional? 330. And I needed to click in the other one. Okay, let's try another one. Cosine theta. All right, so what's the question you will ask there? If cosine theta has to equal 1, let's put that there. Sorry, let me rewrite this again. So cosine of theta has to equal a positive 1. So the question this time is, which angle has a x value? Because cosine is x of what? Of 1. So you see how the question just changes slightly. So again, you look at the unit circle. We're going to look for where the x's are 1. So we go to the first quadrant. There aren't any x's. Oh, no, yes, they are. It's 0. We go to the second quadrant. No x's. There's a negative 1. Third quadrant, fourth quadrant. So the only time x is going to be 1 is at 0 degrees. And so that one only has one solution. They sure do like tangent, don't they? All right, well, let's do tangent again. So tangent of theta equals 0. So at what angle is y over x going to give me a 0? Now this case, you know that if x is 0, it's undefined. So what we are more concerned is that the y ends up being 0 this time, okay? If x was 0, then it would be undefined, but we wanted a 0. So we really care about where are the y values 0. So go around the unit circle, and the y values are only 0 here and here, okay? And that's the only time the tangent of theta will be 0, okay? When the y is 0. So those angles were 0 and 180. Additional solution, 180. All right. So now sine is y. Where is y going to be negative 1? Look at our unit circle. Y is only negative 1 right here. Nowhere else. And that's at the 270 degrees. So I'm hoping you're getting the hang of this as I continue to click. And you notice that all you're doing is the reverse of what you did before. Okay, instead of them giving the angle and you find the answer, they're giving you the answer and you're looking for the angle. So you are just solving for the angle, which is called inverse trig. Okay, where is the y value? Negative square root of 3 over 2. Well, it just so happens it actually happens 2 times. The y's are negative in the third and fourth quadrant. So my angle answers are going to be 240 and 300 degrees. So 240 and 300. Okay. Where is x going to be square root of 3 over 2? I will just mark it this time. X is square root of 3 over 2 right there. And positive square root of 3 over 2 right here. So that's 30 and 330. Okay. All right. So practice doing some inverse trig using our unit circle. And that will culminate, for now, lesson 6.4. Thanks so much for watching and completing this assignment.